Here are 3 foods which you should not eat with yogurt, especially if you're a senior. This will harm your guts so badly. 1. Citrus fruits and melons, trouble in disguise. Okay, this one surprised me the most. I mean, who hasn't had a yogurt parfait with a few slices of orange, maybe some pineapple chunks or berries? It looks beautiful, it's colorful, feels fresh, but what I didn't realize was that the acidity in citrus fruits can mess things up once it hits your stomach with yogurt. I was just blindly throwing those fruits together because they seemed like a match made in healthy snack heaven. But here's what's really happening. Those acidic fruits don't just sit there politely next to the yogurt. They curdle the dairy proteins. And no, not just in the bowl. I'm talking about inside your stomach. When that curdling happens, digestion slows way down. For me, it used to feel like a brick sitting in my gut, bloated, gassy, just uncomfortable. And here's the wild part. I didn't even know it was happening at first. I'd eat, feel off for hours, and just blame it on getting older or eating too fast. But the real culprit, that innocent-looking bowl of yogurt with a few orange slices on top. It felt healthy, but my stomach was doing somersaults trying to break it all down. The gas, the heaviness, that weird churning feeling, I thought it was just me. But once I cut those acidic fruits out, it was like flipping a switch. My gut finally got a break, and suddenly, eating felt good again. I was skeptical, honestly. Like, come on, it's just fruit and yogurt. But I started paying attention to how my body felt after meals. The difference was obvious. No more running to the bathroom. No more discomfort. Just light, easy digestion. You'd think I'd be used to the idea of adjusting my meals as I get older, but this simple change really showed me how much I'd been overlooking. I was so caught up in thinking that healthy combinations were always the right choices. But once I switched things up, I felt a complete shift. It was like my body was thanking me for finally listening. No more bloating, no more feeling stuffed, just that calm, satisfied feeling after eating. So now, instead of mixing citrus with yogurt, I opt for things that play nicer with it. Like berries or bananas, it's just smoother on the stomach, no tension or conflict. The beauty of it is, I still get to enjoy my yogurt in the same way, except this time, it doesn't come with that uncomfortable aftermath. I even started adding a little drizzle of honey or sprinkling some cinnamon over it to make it even more enjoyable. It doesn't feel like a compromise. It feels like I'm actually giving my body what it needs. I think the hardest part of all of this is breaking out of old habits. You get so used to doing something a certain way for so long, and it becomes routine. But once you start noticing how your body reacts to those routines, it's hard to ignore. It's not about being perfect, it's about being conscious of how food affects you, especially as you get older. That's something I never thought I'd have to consider, but now it feels like second nature. I even started paying more attention to when I'm eating, making sure I don't overload my stomach with too much at once. Simple things like this can really help in the long run. Honestly, I wish I had made these changes sooner, but you live and learn, right? Once I started making smarter food pairings and taking my digestion seriously, it felt like I had more energy, clearer mornings, and even a more upbeat mood. And let's face it, I feel better knowing I'm doing right by my body, especially when I'm choosing the foods that make me feel good, not weighed down. And melons, oh man, I love a good slice of watermelon, but pair it with yogurt and it's a gut disaster. Melons are super quick to digest, light, fast, refreshing. Yogurt, on the other hand, takes its sweet time. So when you mix the two, the melon gets stuck behind the yogurt in your system. That's when fermentation kicks in, and trust me, you'll know it. Gas, bloating, and sometimes even a quick trip to the bathroom. I didn't want to believe it at first. I mean, how can something that tastes so clean do that much damage? But every time I had a fruit salad with cantaloupe and a yogurt dressing, I felt weighed down. It's sneaky because the discomfort doesn't hit you right away. It builds slowly, like a traffic jam in your gut. You start noticing that your clothes feel tighter, your energy dips, and suddenly, that healthy snack isn't doing you any favors. I even tried timing it differently, melons first, yogurt later, but nope, same story. My system just couldn't handle the conflict in speed. And the worst part was that the more I ignored the signs, the worse it got. I'd end up feeling sluggish all day, unable to shake that bloated, heavy sensation. At first, I just thought I needed to adjust my portion sizes or maybe add a bit more water. But no, The issue was deeper than that. It wasn't just about eating too much. It was about the foods I was combining and how they were processing inside me. It was like trying to put two completely different engines into one car. It just wasn't going to work without breaking something down. Now, I keep them separate and enjoy each for what it is. I have melons on their own as a refreshing snack, and yogurt as a standalone or with more stomach-friendly fruits. That small change, it's made a world of difference in how I feel after eating. My digestion isn't sluggish anymore, and the bloating is a thing of the past. What I've realized is that food is about balance, timing, and understanding how certain combinations affect me. Trust your body. It's giving you the clues. Don't ignore them. It's easy to get caught up in what seems like a good, healthy choice, but sometimes the way foods interact with each other is the real issue. Now, when I think of melons, I enjoy them for what they are: refreshing, hydrating, and quick to digest, without worrying about what I'm pairing them with. And yogurt? It's still my go-to for a creamy probiotic-packed snack or meal, but now I pair it with foods that help it do its job better, not hinder it. That peace of mind is worth so much more than a quick fix. What's even crazier is that I thought I was doing something wrong when my stomach didn't react well. Like, maybe I was the only one. But then I talked to a few people, and they all shared similar experiences. I realized this wasn't just me, it was a thing. I know it might sound strange to some of you, but when you get older, your body changes. And what worked for you before might not work anymore. That's why it's so important to listen to what your gut is telling you, even if it means rethinking meals that seemed like a good idea. Little changes can make a huge difference. I remember my friend Margaret, bless her. She's 72 and always been health conscious. Every morning she had this fancy grapefruit and yogurt breakfast. She couldn't figure out why she felt nauseated and bloated afterward. When she dropped the grapefruit, it was like night and day. The bloating vanished. Sometimes the fix is that simple. You don't always need complex solutions. It's about paying attention to the signals your body sends and making adjustments. Honestly, it was one of those aha moments for both of us. Who would have thought something as simple as not pairing certain fruits with yogurt would turn her mornings around? So yeah, those citrus fruits and melons, best to enjoy them away from yogurt, not together. I don't miss that bloated feeling at all, and I've actually grown to love the fresh, light feeling after meals. No more guessing, no more discomfort, just feeling good again. 2. Meat and high-protein meals. Too much of a good thing. Now this one caught me by surprise too, because I used to do this all the time. I'd have a steak dinner, then polish it off with a little bowl of Greek yogurt, thinking it would help with digestion. But turns out, it was doing the opposite. See, yogurt already has a lot of protein. When you throw in another protein-heavy food, like steak, chicken, or even eggs, you're asking your stomach to do overtime. And let's be real, when you're over 50, digestion's not what it used to be. Our stomach acid production drops, our gut bacteria changes. It's just part of getting older. What used to go down easy in our 30s now feels like it just sits there. I remember having steak and yogurt one evening, thinking I was being smart with my food choices. But a couple hours later, I felt sluggish, like I'd swallowed a brick. My energy tanked and I ended up just lying on the couch feeling uncomfortable. I didn't connect the dots at first. It seemed like a healthy combo, protein and more protein, right? But it turns out more isn't always better, especially when your stomach can't keep up with the demand. Once I spaced them out, I felt lighter and more energized after meals. Sometimes it's not about what you eat, but when you eat it. The problem wasn't even just about being full, it was the kind of full that makes you regret every bite. I found myself sluggish and bloated, like I'd done something wrong, but couldn't pinpoint it. I tried this combination several times, and each time, the same thing happened. It was like my stomach was too tired to process all the food at once. And then, to make matters worse, I'd end up feeling super bloated, like I was carrying a weight in my stomach that wouldn't go away. I'd try to go about my day, but I felt like I was in slow motion. My energy would dip, and no matter how much water I drank, it didn't help. It was like my stomach was a clogged drain and everything I ate just piled up. That's when I realized I had to change how I was eating, not just what I was eating. I'd been eating the right things, just in the wrong order or combination. it dawned on me that I wasn't giving my digestive system enough time to process each type of food properly. My body was overwhelmed by the workload, and it couldn't keep up with the demands I was putting on it. That's when I started really paying attention to the timing of my meals and how I could space them out for better digestion. It wasn't just about cutting down portions, it was about respecting the pace my stomach needed to break down food. I started taking my time with meals, slowing down and chewing properly. Sounds simple, but it really made a difference. And the moment I stopped cramming everything into one meal, it felt like a weight was lifted, not just physically, but mentally too. No more stress about feeling uncomfortable or bloated. I also began to listen to the little cues my body was giving me. Before, I'd eat and keep going without a second thought, pushing through the discomfort. But once I tuned into those signs, like feeling a little too full or noticing that I was getting sluggish, I knew it was time to adjust. What was amazing was that after I made those adjustments, it wasn't just my stomach that felt better. My energy levels skyrocketed, my mood lifted, and I didn't feel that constant fatigue hanging over me. There's something really liberating about taking control of how your body responds to food. It's not just about eating healthier, it's about being mindful of what works best for your unique body. I didn't realize how much I was fighting my own system until I stopped and gave it the space to do its job properly. And you know what? It paid off in ways I didn't expect. Now, I don't feel like I'm doing a battle every time I eat. I feel lighter, more energized, and more in tune with my body. Sometimes the smallest changes in how you approach food make the biggest difference. And honestly, it feels good to finally be on the same team as my digestion. So when I was stacking protein on top of protein, my stomach couldn't keep up. It would try to produce enough acid to handle everything, but it just couldn't. The food would just sit there, slowly fermenting. I'd feel bloated, heavy, sometimes even get reflux. And here's the kicker. That extra acid, it can wipe out the good probiotics in the yogurt. So not only was it not helping, I was ruining the very thing I was eating the yogurt for. It made me feel like I was eating for nothing. It's funny because yogurt is supposed to be beneficial, but when I paired it with that big, protein-heavy meal, it was like undoing all the good work it was meant to do. One of my viewers, Robert from Wisconsin, shared a similar story. Big fan of steak with a side of yogurt. He thought he was balancing things out, but after I told him to try eating yogurt on its own, maybe as a mid-morning snack, boom, no more heaviness, more energy, better digestion. All it took was spacing it out. He reached out a few weeks later, telling me how much better he felt. And you know, it really made me feel like I was onto something with this idea. A small change, but the payoff was huge. I like to think of digestion like a campfire. You can't throw a big heavy log on a little flame and expect it to burn smoothly. You need to give it time and space to do its thing. Think about it. Your stomach is like that little fire. If you overload it, it can't burn properly, and the food just lingers. But when you give your body the space to process the food properly, it's like adding the right amount of wood at the right time. It burns steadily, efficiently, and before you know it, you've got energy to burn. That's exactly what I started doing after I spaced out my protein-rich meals from the yogurt. After I switched things up, it felt like I was getting more from my food. Yogurt wasn't just a side dish anymore, it was a helpful snack that boosted my energy and helped my gut process things better. I was giving my body what it needed without overloading it, and I started feeling the difference almost immediately. I couldn't believe how simple the solution was. Just eating things at different times. No need for fancy diets or drastic changes. It was about respecting my body's pace. 3. Spicy and fried foods, a digestive conflict. Now I'll be honest, I've always loved spicy food, grew up on it. A little chili here, some curry there, and nothing hits like crispy fried samosas with a cool yogurt dip, right? Tastes amazing. Until the next morning when you wake up bloated and foggy-headed. I used to think it was just me getting older, but the truth is, that combo of spicy and fried was doing a number on my digestive system. And let me tell you, nothing was worse than that post-meal feeling. You know, when you're lying in bed trying to get comfortable, but your stomach's just doing its thing, bubbling, gurgling, and not in the fun way. I'd wake up the next morning and it felt like my body wasn't even awake yet. Slow, heavy, almost like I hadn't gotten any sleep at all. What I didn't realize was that spicy foods, especially those loaded with hot peppers or heavy oils, can irritate the lining of your stomach. They're stimulating, which can cause your stomach to produce more acid to try to digest everything. That excess acid can lead to reflux and indigestion, especially when combined with fried foods, which are harder for the stomach to break down. Fried foods take longer to digest, and the fats in them can sit in your stomach, causing discomfort and slow digestion. The other issue with fried foods is that they slow down gastric emptying. Essentially, the food just sits there longer than it should, causing that bloated, full feeling. Your digestive system works more efficiently when the stomach empties regularly. But when it's overloaded, it can cause food to ferment, leading to gas and bloating. This slow digestion can also make you feel sluggish and fatigued, which is exactly how I felt after a meal like this. And spicy foods? Well, they can also increase gut motility, which means your stomach might empty too quickly, causing discomfort or even diarrhea. It's a fine line between the two, but when you combine spicy with fried foods, it's like your stomach is constantly on overdrive, struggling to keep up. What I found even more interesting was that combining these types of foods can also interfere with nutrient absorption. Your body isn't able to extract nutrients as efficiently when it's too busy dealing with the harsh effects of heavy, spicy, and fried meals. That means even though I thought I was eating something flavorful and satisfying, I wasn't getting the full benefits of the nutrients in the food. It was a double hit. My digestion was struggling, and I wasn't even getting all the goodness I should have been. When I started taking this seriously, I researched more about how food combinations affect digestion. It turns out spicy and fried foods aren't just hard on your stomach. They can also mess with your gut microbiome. Your gut is home to billions of bacteria, and they thrive best with balanced, non-inflammatory foods. Overloading it with too much fat, spice, and processed oils can cause a disruption in this balance, leading to issues like bloating, gas, and even a weakened immune system over time. Once I realized this, I started switching up my meals. Instead of pairing spicy foods with heavy fried items, I started enjoying them separately, giving my stomach a break. And you know what? The difference was immediate. I didn't feel sluggish anymore, and the bloating started to ease up. Even my energy levels improved. It wasn't magic. It was just understanding how my body responded to these combinations and giving it what it really needed. Now I enjoy my favorite spicy meals, but I give them a little breathing room so my digestion can keep up. I've learned that small changes in timing and food combinations can make a huge difference. I still love the heat and crunch, but now I can actually enjoy them without the dreaded aftermath. Here's what I learned. Spicy foods and yogurt send mixed messages to your gut. The spices heat things up, get your stomach lining all riled up. Then you throw in yogurt, which cools things down and forms mucus. The result? Confusion. Your gut's like, what do you want me to do here? That's when the bloating, indigestion, and reflux set in. It's like your stomach is caught in the middle of a tug of war. The spicy food wants to stir things up, and the yogurt's trying to calm it all down. But your digestive system just can't keep up with that confusion. It's like trying to run in two different directions at the same time. It's exhausting. And fried foods, they're a whole different beast. Heavy, greasy, hard to break down. Add yogurt on top and your digestive system just taps out. I used to think I had joint inflammation or just slept funny. Nope. It was the food combo from the night before. That greasy crunch might taste amazing in the moment, but it sticks with you in the worst way. I'd wake up feeling stiff, swollen, and weirdly foggy, like I hadn't rested at all. And all this time, I thought I was just getting older or maybe dehydrated. But the real issue was deep in my gut. That combo of fried oils and cooling yogurt just sat there, fermenting and clogging up the works. It's like throwing cold water on hot oil. Your stomach doesn't know how to react. It creates a situation where the food just hangs around in your stomach, unable to break down properly. And let me tell you, it's uncomfortable, like your body's not even sure what to do with all that. The oils in fried foods, especially the processed ones, are harder for your body to break down than other fats. They take longer to digest and can make your stomach feel heavy and sluggish. When paired with yogurt, which is rich in probiotics, there's a real clash. The rich, thick consistency of yogurt doesn't mesh well with the heavy oils in fried foods. Instead of the yogurt helping your digestion, it ends up just sitting in your stomach, waiting to be broken down, but unable to do so effectively. It's not just a one-time issue either. If you keep mixing these two types of foods together, it can actually lead to long-term digestive problems. When your stomach can't break down the food properly, it leads to poor absorption of nutrients. That means even if you're eating healthy, your body isn't getting the full benefit of those nutrients. So, I wasn't just feeling bloated and uncomfortable, I was also missing out on the health benefits of the foods I was eating. This was a huge wake-up call for me. It's not just about what you eat, it's about how your body processes it, the timing, the combinations, and how each food affects your gut. Overloading your stomach with difficult-to-digest foods forces it to work harder than it should. And eventually, your body gets tired of working so hard without seeing the results. That's when the discomfort sets in. Once I started separating yogurt from heavy meals like fried foods, I started noticing a huge improvement. My digestion was smoother, I wasn't waking up in a fog, and the stiffness in my joints eased up. It became clear that small tweaks, like spacing out yogurt from greasy meals, could make a world of difference. I didn't have to completely give up the foods I loved. I just had to give my stomach the time it needed to properly process them. And it wasn't just about comfort. The more I paid attention to how my body responded to different combinations, the better I felt overall. It's like I was learning to work with my body instead of fighting against it. And now I can still enjoy those crispy, delicious treats, but I don't have to pay the price afterward. Once I separated the two, I felt a huge shift: lighter meals, clearer mornings, and even less joint pain. I noticed my mornings were brighter and my energy levels were much higher. The bloating didn't sneak up on me anymore, and my stomach was no longer in distress. Even better, I didn't have to miss out on the flavors I loved. I just had to adjust when I ate certain things. I started feeling like I had control over my body again instead of feeling like my food was controlling me. It really hit me that it wasn't about cutting out everything I loved. It was just about finding a better rhythm for my digestion. My friend Gloria, she's 65 and loves her Friday night fried treats. She always paired them with yogurt sauce. Tasted great. But every Saturday morning, same story: bloated, tired, just off. She'd text me complaining about how awful she felt after eating those delicious samosas. It was the same pattern every week, and she didn't know why. Once she started separating the yogurt from her fried meals and enjoyed it earlier in the day, things turned around fast. The bloating disappeared, her energy was up, and she felt better in the mornings. She was surprised at how much of a difference it made. It was one of those, "why didn't I think of that sooner?" moments. And now, she's one of my biggest advocates for separating yogurt from fried food. Her transformation has been so inspiring. I've seen how a small change can have such a big impact on your overall health and quality of life. That's the thing. These little changes, they make a big difference. It's so easy to overlook them, especially when we're used to eating certain foods together. But once you stop and listen to your body, it's clear. I'm not saying you have to give up your favorite foods, just space them out. Be mindful. Take a step back and think about the rhythms of your digestion. It's not about what's good or bad. It's about timing, balance, and listening to what your body needs. These simple tweaks, they're the key to making sure you're actually getting the most out of your meals, not just eating mindlessly. Now look, I'm not here to ruin your love for yogurt. In fact, I still eat it every day. But now I pair it the right way. Instead of citrus, I warm up some soft apples with a sprinkle of cinnamon. Tastes like dessert. Or I'll stir in a spoonful of ground flax seeds, rich in omega-3s and fiber. Sometimes I prep overnight oats with yogurt, let it soak, and enjoy it in the morning. No more bloating, no more confusion in my gut. Just clean, smooth digestion and a good start to my day. You know, I met a woman named Diane. She's 71. Used to eat berries with her yogurt, and every morning she felt heavy and uncomfortable. We swapped the berries for stewed apples and cinnamon. Within a week, she felt light, clear-headed, energized. No magic pill, just a better combination. Another guy, Thomas, 68, started adding ground flaxseed to his yogurt. He told me he felt more alert, less sluggish. Simple changes, big impact. Even Evelyn from Michigan, she was using raw oats and cold milk for years. Always felt bloated. Switched to warm oats, yogurt, cinnamon, and stewed apples. In 2 weeks, she said her digestion was better than it had been in years. So if you're like me, over 50, wanting to feel better after meals and not worse, this is your sign. Don't toss out the yogurt. Just be a little more thoughtful about what you're putting with it. Believe me, it makes all the difference. As we age, our bodies don't always process food the same way they used to. What worked when we were younger might not work now, and that's okay. It's not about depriving yourself of foods you enjoy, it's about finding balance and figuring out what makes your body feel good. If you're feeling sluggish, bloated, or uncomfortable after meals, it's a clear signal that something in your diet needs a little tweak. Trust me, your gut will notice. You'll feel lighter, more energized, and honestly, a little proud every time you eat something that truly works for your body. Your digestive system works hard, and when you give it the right foods and the right combinations, it'll reward you. Your body knows what to do with the nutrients you give it when you take the time to give it the right fuel. The best part? You'll start feeling more in control, knowing you're treating your body right, not fighting against it. You'll feel more awake, more alert, and less weighed down. Now, if something I shared today made you go, "Wait, that's me," or reminded you of someone who's been struggling with digestion, do them a favor. Send this their way. A sister, a friend, your neighbor. It might be exactly what they need. Sharing tips like these can really make a difference, especially when it comes to things we don't always talk about, like how food affects our bodies after we hit a certain age. It's not about being perfect. It's about being proactive. You never know who might be struggling with the same thing, and your insight might just be the game changer they've been waiting for. Take care of yourself, eat smart, and hey, your gut will thank you. You might not see the benefits overnight, but trust me, over time, it adds up. You'll look back and wonder why you didn't make these changes sooner. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Just take it step by step, meal by meal, and I promise you'll start feeling better than you have in a long time. If this video helped you out or gave you a new perspective, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. I've got more simple, powerful health insights coming your way soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.